If you're thinking about moving across the world to study medicine because it's cheaper, easy to get into, or sounds like a great adventure, I want you to pause this video and listen to me for the next few minutes. A lot of people online tells you how romantic it is to study abroad, but what they don't tell you is what happens when reality hits. A few months ago, I was living in a freezing dorm room in Russia, studying my life away for a medical degree. But today, I'm in Italy, having officially walked away from that life. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Banki. I wanted to make this video because when I was looking to study abroad, everyone talked about the paperwork, but nobody spilled the honesty about the social isolation, the culture shock, and what it's actually like to live there. So let's talk about why I left Russia and the red flags you need to look out for if you're planning to go. The actual medical education in Russia, it's solid. The professors know their stuff, the facilities are there, academically it's rigorous. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the system around it. For starters, exams aren't just multiple choice tests. They have something called variance, which means you draw a card with heavy 2 to 3 essay questions and you have to write everything you know about that topic. Here's the catch though, the grading system is entirely different. They use something called a 1 to 5 grading scale, where 5 stands for excellent, 4 stands for good or хорошо, 3 stands for satisfactory, and 2 if you fail. It sounds simple, but in reality it might feel incredibly subjective and at times a little corrupt. Because it's so small, your entire hard work can come down to whether a professor likes your vibe on a specific moment. It creates this weird, high anxiety environment where the numbers don't always match the effort you put in. Because of that, a lot of students start studying just to memorize for the test rather than actually understanding the material. You see people cheating, swapping variants, or cramming answers just to pass. What I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, your mark doesn't always reflect your true understanding. It often reflects luck, the teacher's mood, or how well you can memorize on the spot. A quick side note though, if you want a separate dedicated video breaking down the entire academic structure, let me know down in the comments because there's a lot to unpack there. But of course, even the academic stress was manageable. What I was not prepared for is the actual language barrier outside the classroom. Before moving, you read brochures that say English medium and you think to yourself, oh great, everyone would speak English. But spoiler alert, they don't. Outside of your specific classroom, Russian people generally do not speak English. I mean like at all. Trying to do basic things like buying groceries, ordering a taxi, or going to the pharmacy becomes a game of charades. And because of that intense language barrier, something happens to international students that nobody wants you about. You get trapped inside a bubble. You move there expecting this global international crowd, imagining you'll make friends from all around the world and integrate into Russian culture. But because navigating the country is so hard, the university usually herds you together. You end up living in dorms exclusively with people from your own country. You study with them, you cook with them, you hang out with them. Now don't get me wrong, there is a beautiful side to that. We built our own cultural community, we celebrate our holidays, we cook our traditional food, and having that little pieces of home in the middle of a Russian winter is a real lifesaver. It keeps us sane. But after a while, you can't help yourself but wonder, is this really what I want? I realized I was living a double life. I was physically in Russia, but socially I was completely isolated from the country I was living in. I wasn't growing, I wasn't experiencing a new culture, I was just living in a tiny, stressful bubble, surviving day by day. So I had to ask myself, is this really where I'm going to spend 6 years of my youth, locked in a dorm, speaking to the same circle of people, dealing with a rigid system, and completely isolated from the outside world? The answer was no, and that's exactly when I decided to pack my bags and move to Italy. When you constantly feel a sense of unfairness after the AP exam, and there's no real encouragement, it drains you. You'd be surprised by how much your environment and the people around you can really shape your mindset. Leaving Russia wasn't giving up on my dream, it was walking away from an environment that was draining me. And to be honest, choosing to walk away from that life took way more courage than just staying on autopilot. Now, is studying Russia bad for everyone? Absolutely. I know people who are genuinely satisfied with their experience, and have successfully finished their degrees at KSMU. But if you're scrolling through YouTube right now trying to decide if Russia is the right choice for your medical degree, here is my honest takeaway. A lot of it comes down to the specific student group that you're assigned to in the beginning of your first year. Those are the people who either make or break your success there. Don't go just because it's a cheap option. Go only if 1. You're 100% willing to learn Russian from day 1 so you can actually interact with people and experience the culture there. 2. You're okay with a very insular bubble-like social life. 3. You have the mental toughness to handle the 1 to 5 grading scale that can sometimes feel unfair. 4. You're fiercely independent. You can't rely on the university to hold your hand and guide you throughout, because sometimes the administration can feel incredibly hard to deal with and you just need to be independent. And last but not least, 5. You have a thick skin. The teaching style there is not exactly nurturing. It can sometimes feel a little bit traditional and authoritative. So if you're expecting a gentle environment, that's not going to be it. You just have to deal with it and put up with some unfairness along the way. But if you want a vibrant, a truly international experience where you mix with locals and feels integrated, Russia might struggle to give you that. As for me, I'm in Italy now, resetting and figuring out my next steps. The dream of working in the healthcare and helping people isn't dead, it's just taking a much more scenic Mediterranean route. Studying in Russia taught me how resilient I am, and I don't regret going because it taught me so much about life and people I wouldn't have otherwise known. But I definitely don't regret leaving when I did. I'm really excited to take you guys along for this new chapter here in Italy. And if you have had to walk away or pivot from a major life plan, let me know down in the comments because I'd love to hear your story. And if you're planning to study abroad and have any questions, let's talk in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up if it helped clear your doubts on certain things, and hit that subscribe button if you want to join me on this Italian journey, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.